Sure.
Thank you. Welcome to our EDIT, one of the last presentations. So welcome and take it away. Moza and Amal, right?
Yes.
Okay. You can share the screen in the middle.
Sure. I'm just waiting for Moza. Just a second.
Sure. Basma, do you think you want to go first while we're waiting for Moza?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yes, absolutely, Basma. Go ahead.
Okay, let me just share my screen.
Thank you, Basma.
Sure. Okay, can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay, let me just move the chat box because it's blocking my view. Okay, so this is the practicum presentation that I put all my work in. I was telling Ms. Dr. Melda before that I'm so proud of this work that it's going to be ongoing. This is going to be a live website. I'm going to keep updating it constantly every time I do a PD, because as part of my work in HCT, I'm supposed to do my PD continuously. I'm supposed to do 50 hours of PD a year anyway, so this works perfectly with what I'm doing. This is the cover page, and on the about page you can see the information about this class. Then we move on to the PD. The PD itself has the paperwork that I filled in for Dr. Melda, which was the information for the class that I'm teaching, or the PD that I was doing. And then if you go to the feedback form, I have the feedback at the bottom here, my practicum experience, and I filled it in after and during I was doing the PD. I edited, of course, as I completed this work. Then we have the observations, which I consider PD. Basically, I watched 5 hours of PD on teaching math and science, and then I wrote journals on the observations. This was done for another class, but I plan to continue this as part of the practicum. And then I have my video tutorials, which I used during the PD. The video tutorials are here, and then this is a link to another website, which was part of the edit 624, I think, where I put in annotated bibliography with a whole bunch of journals based on the videos. And then I also did websites where there was the link to the website, a tutorial, and then how these websites match 21st century skills for students. And so there's more than one. And as I learn about new apps, I will update this page. And then we have the video tutorials, which I actually made myself. I might find ones that are already available online, but these are the tutorials that I made with my voice that I sent to the teachers and the students. What else is there? Oh yes, the outline is over here, the plan for my students, and this is the sessions, how I would do the PD, or how I did the PD, but also I would do this more than once. And the needs analysis survey, which is the needs questionnaire that I sent and the responses. And this is, now I'm going to go back to this page where I show you the rest of it. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
Sorry, I thought the connection was cutting. The survey is the same one that I used for both the classes. I sent this out with the teachers, and then here is my actual data analysis. So I put in the responses, as you can see, to all the 10 questions that I had. And then at the bottom, I analyzed these results and then planned my PD based on these results. So this happened before I did the actual PD. So this is the analysis. And then if you go to the standards and journals, what I did is I put up all the artifacts of the work that we did based on the standards that were given to us by Dr. Melda, the coach standards. And so I have the standards here, and then I have the link to the resources I used for every standard. 3 and 4, again, all the activities and work that I've done. Standard 5 and 6, and then again, if you click on each of these, you go to the different work that I did to match the standards. And then the end is just my contact, and people can leave me a note. And that's it for my presentation.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Basma. You're an inspiration for all of us. We should all continue our professional websites, right? And looking at yours, I'm like, I need to upgrade mine. Mine is very simple and not that interactive. But I also I saw how you're linking to other locations. So it's not like just you stay in one platform. Now that when we find a new platform, we link our old website to our new web platform. So I'm sure you will continue to grow, and please keep sharing with us what you do. Always stay connected. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Melda. I just want to add that this wasn't just, it was a lot of fun to do, much more than I thought it would be. Once I got started, I got really inspired looking at all the other work that I've done for other classes and putting it in. So it was hard work, but it was much more fun than I expected. So thank you for that. Thank you for this experience.
And for the record, I want to tell you, you're not the first one who said this. Everyone hates this class at the beginning because it seems like, oh, so much to do. But once they started putting their work, they want to, put more and organize more. So I think your sentiments is somewhat similar to I heard from many others. And one thing that I want to do, make sure the students in the future start building this portfolio earlier. Because once you start linking it, you start to say, oh, maybe I am, after all, able to do this. And think about your students. If you give the same passion, they continue to build, because it's no longer just an audience for teacher to see a paper. They're also sharing with the world. So I think portfolios has a lot of motivational tactics. So thank you. Moza, are you here? So we can start the presentations. Hi, John.
Hello, how are you?
Good. I'm glad we're on the same Zoom link now.
Yep.
I have one more presentation, and we're recording all these sessions. By the way,
Sure.
Basma just presented her excellent portfolio. We're
Okay.
waiting for Amal and Moza. They did a PD together, so they're going to present, and we're next.
Okay.
Unless Moza needs a little bit more time. Amal, are you there?
Yes, Doctor, I am. Just Moza wants to share the screen right now.
Okay, perfect.
Dr. Melda and everyone.
Hi, Amal. Hi, Moza. We're ready for your presentation.
Okay, I will share my screen now.
Please.
Sure. Well, hi, Dr. Melda and everyone. I prepared this BD session with my colleagues Amal Al-Yammahi. We are both educators in Higher College of Technology in United Arab Emirates. We create a BD session that we experience in our workplace regarding math course, as I'm teaching foundation mathematical course. So we found that learning by doing activity will be the right choice for that BD session. And I experienced in the classroom, and Amal agree with me that our students have difficulty in solving math word problems. So we did an interactive activity. We call it shopping day, regarding teaching one concept regarding finding the original price and discount price. We will go through these details now. So our BD for this session will cover, we will discuss the ball result. We did it with our educator, and we will introduce the lesson activity. And of course, we will have a time to address some of our student difficulties among, the math problems topic, or in that area. And of course, we will discuss in detail the activity instruction. And of course, we will have a time at the end of this session for any question between both of us. Are you ready?
Yes, we are.
Okay, the first part of our session tonight, we will be discussing the ball result. And Dr. Melda and colleagues, we used Ball Everywhere for PowerPoint. And we are really enjoyed to collect the data so quick, me and Amal. I will show you now the result here. So we ask our educator, like, we can call it like a general question. So let's start with the first question. This will take like a second. Okay. So we ask them, for example, how often do you use the smart digital educational application in your classroom or in your classes? As you see, that most of them, they used to use smart digital tools in their classroom, as they are experienced 21st century, the development, as our student are very close to that forms. So we choose also for our session like a platform which is digital, to where they can use it for our activity we created. Let's see the second question. Which is the most important math task to practice with your learner? We have like different rates here, and most of them, they are agree that worksheet can work. That will become more important task to our students to do it in math classes, and of course the ongoing quizzes, which is really giving us like a direct feedback about our student progression. Do you hear me, Doctor?
Yes, I can.
Okay, everyone is okay?
Yeah, you're very clear.
Okay, and now let's back. I think, did you get like an overview about our data analysis? We try to gather it from our educator to present and productive content for our presentation. So now let's go back to our slide. Okay, we'll close it. No. Okay. So now we will address for you some difficulties while our students solving the math word problems. As we are dealing in United Arab Emirates with foundation students, they come into the college all courses as teaching in English, which is their second language. So there are many language challenges they experience in everyday classes. And of course, if they have that lack of understanding the language, so they will not understand the math learning, or they will not understand the mathematical language. So they will have difficulty in learning and obtaining the knowledge. And of course, they have a lack of strategic thinking. So they need someone to direct them in reading the math problems. So I just make like a small graph, or like how our students have to understand the word problems by identifying the math keyword, and they have to do brainstorming, analyze, and of course they have to make a decision. And the last thing. Okay, now I will give the turn to my colleagues Amal.
Thank you, Moza.
You are most welcome.
Thank you. I'm going to complete. Thank you, Moza. So the challenges that the students actually face during or having the math word problems are that first, the level of language. As you know that every student has different level of knowledge, and some of the students consider some of the the words or some specific words difficult for them to understand, as well as some of the concept building. Some of the students are going into different direction, and they really don't know how to focus on the concept, what the questions wants from them. So they keep like focusing on every single word, and they want to know the answer quickly. The third thing is the learning gaps. Of course, there are some learning gaps that stops between the content and the educators and the learners, sorry. And if the teachers identify them, they better actually help the students to fill them in order to understand or to get the answers quickly. For the next slide. Some of the questions that the learners ask, like for example, strategies to process the solution. Some of the students, they usually ask the teacher before they answer the questions if they have to have some specific strategies in order to solve the questions, or they need to identify that. So it's better to ask the teacher first. The second thing is how to understand math language. As I mentioned earlier, there are some words that students don't understand in mathematics. So it's better, for example, for the teacher, if he or she can, for example, write it in the board, or in a piece of paper, the meaning of some particular words that will gonna help the students to understand the problem. The third thing, it will be easy for the student as well to use some online or the internet to enhance their mathematical learning, like Wolfram Alpha, or even there is a calculator that called Omni Calculator, so it will be very useful for the student if they can use them. And of course, there are many various things, the websites. For the next slide. So the activities that we were thinking Moza and I to do is that we're going to print A3 posters that are going to involve some of the shop stores, involve questions that with images, some attractive images, and of course some of the questions. And the students are going, the posters are going to, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, the posters are going to be sticked around the classroom. The students are going to have like a short field trip, so they are going to go to stand up and go and have a look at the question. The special thing about this activity is that they are going to have some authentic learning problems, which can be fun and engaging in the same time.
Thank you, Amal. And after we decided to make that activity, me and Amal focus in the vocabulary we will be using for that activity. So we use like different type of a question, math problems I meant, in order to make the activity more interactive, where the student will enjoy, where our student will learn more, because when they do it on the course book or in the course like the regular basis, we will give them the content. It will become like a different thing by using learning by doing activity. We try to make it smooth, enjoyable for this activity. So we try to use also interactive techniques, so that students will have like a class trip, field trip in their classroom, and of course the materials. So choosing the material for any lesson and learning by doing, it's make a difference in your student perspective and of course in their learning progression. So now let's go through the activity instruction. So the activity, as Amal said, that will be a short class field trip, and we decided that that activity must work as group, which is enhance our student discussion between each other and exchanging knowledge, experience in solving that type of problems. And of course, we decided that the all question will be printed in a color hard paper. And as an educator, they must like assign a time duration for their learner. We try to give you like an example, 20 minutes to answer, like for example, 5 questions. It depends on you and how long you want to spend in that activity. And of course, educator must not allow their student to use any online resources during this activity, to know how their student will think about the math problems in that way, in that activity actually. And of course, they have to, educator can choose to make it like a competition activity. So the group who will finish first, they will give them like extra point in their course participation grade. And now I will show you the material we did it here in the PDF. It's clear, colleagues and doctor. This is the material the educator must print it for the activity. So like Fujairah City Center, mall, and this is like the store Amal said that we will be using for our activity. And I will show you the PDF we created for the educator. This is like an doctor and colleague, the question. This we give you the question with answer just for like for the educator reference, but the educator must only print the question and in the hard paper and give it to all groups. Okay?
Okay.
Clear, doctor and colleagues?
Yes.
Okay, let's continue our. Okay. So Amal, it's your turn
Sure.
now. Yeah.
At the end, actually, we need an educational tool to collect the students' answers. So at the end, we are going as an educator to collect the students' responses using Padlet. Padlet is a tool where the student can post all their answers inside one shared board. Yes, you can click on that one, Moza. So student can see the answers inside, and they can learn from others' mistakes in case if they post wrong answers. If they click on the right side on the plus sign, yes, they can double click and then they can insert the answers inside. So the others and the teacher can have a look at that one. Or even if they don't want to write their name, so it's fine, just to keep them confident and motivated to answer.
Very good. Right, Amal?
Yes, that's it, Rosa.
Okay, now let's go back to our presentation. And me and Amal would like to thank you, all of you, for giving us our attention. And we hope that you just get some ideas of how to teach math lesson in like an interactive way. And we hope our attendees will get benefit and use it for their classroom next academic year. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Very, very well done. I am very excited to see those pictures in the background. It looks like how you want to do it on the walls. Like, it reminds me the gallery walk. I don't know if we ever mentioned gallery walk. Have you heard this term?
No, actually, doctor, it's about what?
Okay, you can quickly check. I put on the chat the name. Gallery walk is an approach to teaching, and I think that's what you are bringing up. It's very, very creative.
Thank you.
And this is, let me share with you the exercise I had. One day I was late for a presentation in a conference. So when I came into the room, everything was quiet. Presenters were sitting. So imagine that there are presenters, they're sitting and not talking. And attendees are walking around the room and looking at the posters and pictures and so on. And there's a music from the era. And it was a presentation on gallery walk related to Vietnam War. U.S., United States has a long time war in Vietnam. So it showed the timeline of the event, in one place. It showed the movies made related to Vietnam War. It showed quotes from the era, the music, the books. So the room was transformed into a museum. And the presenters later on, after we went through the place, and halfway through, I was in tears. And I learned so much about Vietnam War in that session. Then I could have read a lot of books and I couldn't have learned that much. It was an amazing, transformative experience for me. So, and yours is a nice collection of activities to share in the future. So thank you very much. And check out what the gallery walks look like. And you can actually build in, one other quick tip is that you can actually build in not only Padlet type of interactivity, but you can also build in QR codes or augmented reality built into a piece of paper, right, that you post on the wall that will also interact with the students' mobile devices. So there's so many ways in which you can continue to reinvent your classroom space. So thank you very much. All right, if you guys have time, please join me introducing you and sharing presentation by John DeLeo. John, are you still there?
I'm still here.
All right. Would you be interested in your inspirational project?
Sure. If you'd like, I could share my screen. What I did is I put all my evidence for my final portfolio on my website, which can be, I'll send you the link in the chat if you want to follow along and kind of see what I created. So I'll do that real quick. Oops, Roman. There we go. So the first thing that I started out with is just a brief overview about me and my philosophy on education. I've been teaching earth science for 6 years now in a variety of settings, both in struggling learner situations with numerous special education students, as well as to general population students. I've also been teaching science elective courses for those 6 years, so courses like astronomy and meteorology. So I have a lot of background in science, and I've been completing my master's in instructional technology through NYIT. So that's just a brief overview of my career and where I'm at. Currently, I'm working at a school in Westchester County where I am the technology coach for the district. And that's been a pretty nice experience while I'm also completing my my instructional technology degree. So I kind of get to test the things like pretty quickly, and it's an ongoing weekly basis kind of thing. So I'll start off with the standards that we're required to meet through the IST coaching standards. And I have a few documents that I'd like to share. There's a couple of videos in here that I'll let you guys view on your own. But I'm going to skip ahead to standard 2, which is coaching teachers and modeling the design and implementation of technology learning experiences. I had the opportunity to coach last year one of my colleagues who was an English teacher in the use of the Google Suite of software. We had just been undertaking a bring your own device environment in our school, and I had been prototyping that the year before and undergoing that and getting my students acclimated to it. And then the following year, the whole school got on board with it. So this was my findings that I had with my particular colleague. What we did is we met weekly. It started off at the beginning of a unit that he was teaching in English, and he was looking to get the students to not only conduct research, but also be able to collaborate with him and obviously Google's suite of products, particularly Google Docs, allows that to be done fairly easily. So I laid out all the standards that I wanted him to meet, and all the standards that I wanted myself to meet. And as you go through this, I mentioned all of the different components that I would be looking for, and I observed him a number of times as he was going through the process. And this was about a month and a half to 2 months long project that the students were doing. It was a creative writing course. And I was teaching them how to use Google Documents and how to use the collaboration features and the editing features so that the students could track, what he thought was a proper suggestion for how to improve their writing. And this document pretty much summarizes all of the things that I did and all the tools that I recommended to him. You can see I recommended Evernote as one of the ways that the students can collect their information and then store it for future use. I recommended him Turnitin.com, which a lot of English teachers use to not only check for any plagiarizing that might occur, but also just to help you grade it a lot easier. I'm not an English teacher, so this was a learning experience for me. But in saying that, I think the experience worked out fairly well. And he's not the only person that I've mentored and coached along the way, but he was probably my best case because I'm close friends with him, and I was able to work pretty closely with him. So going back to my portfolio, the next thing I wanted to show was in Standard 3, Standard A, which is Modeling Effective Classroom Management. In one of my NYIT courses, I was required to come up with a model for the perfect or the ideal technological classroom. And that for me, it comes down to a lot. I mean, I already use a lot of technology in my classroom. I use an iPad Pro combined with an Apple Pencil that I AirPlay to an Apple TV on the smartboard. So instead of being at the smartboard writing on the board, it allows me to walk around the room and keep an eye on what the kids are doing, and it also enables them to share their own information. If they have iPads or even an iPhone, they could share their work on the board as well very easily. So that's a lot about what I talked about in this particular project. And I laid out a lot of the lessons that I would do with that technology present. So I'll skip ahead to where I laid out the learning activities. This would be for an astronomy course. You could see I haven't much experience doing this, and I don't expect anyone to recognize some of the concepts that I would be teaching. But astronomy is a course that, unless you are if you have the resources available, such as a planetarium, which I happen to have at my school, a lot of the things are very abstract and very conceptual. It's very hard to demonstrate some of the objects and some of the motions that astronomical or celestial objects are going through. So it becomes a very technological thing, a technological piece. And I demonstrated that in this particular project through a lot of the simulators that I have. And for instance, I'll show you one, and I hope that it works. It comes across fairly well because it does require a lot of video power. But this is one of the pieces of software that I use to help demonstrate the motions of the stars and where objects would move over the course of whether it's a day or a year. So this is part of what goes into my instruction. So that was Standard 3A. The next thing I would like to show is Standard 3D. In this standard, I was asked to select and evaluate an assistive technology. I think that of all of the technology resources out there, Apple as a company is probably the leader in developing assistive technology into their products. And I developed a slideshow that taught colleagues how to use the adaptive features and the assistive features within iOS, which is the operating system for iPads and iPhones. So I could just walk you briefly through that. They have a lot of powerful tools built into the operating system. If you go into the settings on an iPhone and you go into accessibility, there's an endless list of features that could cater to a particular learner. And I've dealt with learners that may have been colorblind or vision impaired, may have been hearing impaired. And this allows me to incorporate their learning style in my classroom without much further effort from me. I've had the opportunity in the past year to teach in a classroom with a set of iPads. And it's been a pretty good experience, even with students that are that do have those disabilities going into it. So this was a project that I was asked to complete for another one of my NYIT courses, and I think that it's potentially useful for really any teacher as we move forward, and as we move forward as an educational career, as the profession develops and as technology becomes more of a mainstay in education, the idea of accessibility in the classroom is going to become more important. So whether it's the computer being able to handle text to speech because the student may have a vision impairment, or whether it's being able to get the student to be able to read something that they couldn't otherwise read. And maybe they have a learning disability that has them struggle with the pronunciation of words. A lot of these things are tools that are being developed and are now available to them through not only just iOS, but Google's platform, whether it's Android or through Chromebooks. It's also available on Microsoft's suite of products. So this is something that I take a lot of interest in. I'm obviously interested in technology, and I follow along with this, not just as a profession, but as a hobby. And I think this is where the biggest gains in education could be in terms of technology. So that was my assistive learning project, just a brief overview. The next standard I'd like to go over is standard 3F, which is collaborating with teachers to evaluate digital tools. So I was asked to come up with a list of tools that not only do I use in the classroom, but I also looked into and could potentially use in the future. So obviously, the one that I rely on the most is Google Drive. Being that we are a Google environment in my district, we've all migrated over to not only Google Drive, but the Google suite of software. So that includes Gmail, Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets, all of that. And I came from it from a scientific background because being that I am the technology coach, but I'm also one of the leaders in the science department. I came up with a lot of tools that would be helpful in a science classroom. So I incorporated areas where you could collect climate data if you're teaching meteorology or an earth science class. This is something that a lot of teachers don't know about, that you could access scientific data, not just necessarily for weather or climate, but for a variety of things, and it's public information, so you're able to access it for free, and then incorporate it into something like Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets, and teach the kids not only how to use those platforms, but also how to demonstrate relationships in data sets that could be helpful in them understanding a key component of science. Going on from there, you see I list another one that you could use earthquakes as that same thing. I linked to Teachers Pay Teachers, which I supply lessons to, but I also get lessons from. It's a great resource for finding lessons that other teachers have made, and a lot of them are great, and it's a great way for you to support other teachers out there that are doing hard work and are really doing a great job. So I'll skip over the science-related ones because I've talked about them enough. Many of you have probably heard of the TED Talks and all that. And if you've ever been to the site, they've broken it down into different contents. So I've shown a few TED Talks in my classes over the years, mostly related to the science field, being a science teacher. But I feel that every now and again, you got to teach beyond the curriculum. And there's always an opportunity for kids to learn something and be interested in something that's beyond what you're required to teach in your class. And then the last thing that I'd like to demonstrate is in Standard 6. I was asked to do a case study not only for this class, but also for a class before this. And I actually built on top of what I had done in the past. I developed this case study where I wanted to look at the formative assessments that I used on a daily basis, as well as the summative assessments that I give at the end of the unit. So you could see I broke down 2 units that I taught this year in the month of February and March. And those 2 units are meteorology and climate. And I looked at all of the formative assessments that I gave over that time. And I'll bring up the data. It's a lot to look at. I made it easy to look at because I calculated the average for each student, and I removed the names of the students just for privacy reasons. But this is all the data that I collected, and this is typical for my classroom, and it allows me to collect what their class averages are for each particular assignment. I could even break this down even further and look into the assignments itself to see an item analysis of the topics that they might be struggling with, or maybe the topics that they're doing well with that I don't need to cover again, so that I can prepare them for ultimately the summative assessment. And ideally, as a teacher, you want your formative assessments to be indicative of what the summative assessment is going to look like. And as you can see, my student averages, which is the green color here, the student averages on my summative assessments was 79%, which is pretty typical for a Regents course. And the averages for the 2 summative assessments that I gave at the end of each of those units was roughly around that number. So that tells me that, number one, my formative assessments are fairly accurate to the summative assessment that I'm giving, but also that it's giving them a benefit of preparing them for the summative assessment. And it tells me that I could give this information back to the kids and be like, listen, the homework assignments that I give or the exit tickets that I give, however I'm assessing them throughout the unit, they are a way for you to develop your knowledge in my classroom and eventually will lead you to a higher test score, because there is a direct correlation between the data that I'm obtaining throughout the unit, which may not mean much in terms of their overall grade, but it will have a large impact on what they receive at the end of the unit. All right. And then the last thing that I felt that I should show is what I've done beyond just the required coursework in NYIT. I got certified in Google, being a Google educator up to level 2. There are 2 levels. Once you go beyond that, you're an official Google instructor, and they have you going around to different school districts and teaching educators how to use software. So this is the highest that a regular teacher can achieve. I also reached, and I'll show you on my website, I also got the same thing for Apple. So this is my website that I give to the students, but I got the Apple Teacher Certificate as well. And I think this is a great program to look into for really any educator, because the process that I was asked to go to along the way required me to evaluate, my knowledge of the Google suite of products and the Apple suite of products, and it made me remember things that I may have just briefly gone over, maybe a year or 2 ago, and now I have that fresh in my mind, and I'm able to use it in my classroom. So yeah, that's a overview of the portfolio that I developed. It's all available on the website that I shared, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, John. I
Yeah.
have to invite you to my summer class. I am teaching environmental science, and I have so much to learn from you. Thank you for your excellent presentation. If anyone would like to ask questions, give comments, please feel free to unmute yourself. But at the same time, we have Aisha just is getting ready to present next. So I hope some of you will have a chance to stay for her presentation, but if you have to leave, we understand. This session is being recorded for you to continue to learn from each other. So I will upload it to our portfolios, Blackboard space. All right, Aisha, as you're getting ready, others, please feel free to give feedback to John. And John, it's very interesting how when you're presenting, you had a wonderful chirping sound in the background. Perfect environmental science presentation.
I know. My house is surrounded by woods, so I am surrounded by wildlife.
That's wonderful. It's beautiful to hear. It was a nice background. And also for this Google certification, congratulations. That's a great achievement.
Thank you.
I very impressive portfolio.
Thank you.
Aisha, can you hear us? Do you want to just hit this share screen and go ahead and start?
Yes, doctor. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. Okay. I'm just gonna share my screen with you.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
So I'm gonna make it short. In case you needed anything, like if you need to look at anything, just tell me and I'll stop.
Of course.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the e-portfolio. I didn't use my old one. I just created a new one for this course. In the homepage, I just write a small description about myself. Here is my philosophy statement. Okay. On my resume. And the ISTE standards, all of them. You can go to them through the drop-down menu, or you can click on the main page. So if we looked at the first ISTE standards, the visionary leadership, I'm not gonna go into each one of them, but if in case you wanted to see one of the project, just tell me and I'll click on it, okay?
Okay.
So from those ones, I'll talk about the UDL project. Here I wrote the rationale. It's contribute to the planning, development, communication, because it demonstrates information about a new strategies plan for learning system that can help the diversity of students learning. So it's a whole website about what is UDL, what are the UDL principles, the guidelines, the formative and summative assessments that is related to the UDL assessment. So it is gonna help teachers, they're gonna use it to start how to start planning for their diversity classes, and it's gonna help them with differentiation as well. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Doctor. Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Okay. So do you want to look at any another stuff or any other stuff in this page, or do I go to the next ICTE standard?
I want you to pick your own choices. So it's okay.
Okay.
Whichever the one you're proud of, something that you struggle the most, or something that you did not want to present, but today you feel like maybe you need to get some feedback. So please feel free.
Okay. Okay, so the next page, the next ICTE standard, I'm gonna pick this one, the higher order thinking skills. And this, it wasn't, I did it in the Math 1 class, which helped us find tools or websites or games that help with higher order thinking skills, which actually meet the ICTE standard because it enhanced learning experience, higher order thinking skills, because it have like mathematical issues that the students have to try to solve them. So I'm gonna show you. It's just a recording of the game. Hi everyone. So for the function machine. So this is the game. I'm just gonna describe it a little bit. The students will have to know how to solve this issue. For example, here the machine controls a clone. Figure out the rules that runs the machine. Enter the rule in the box, then click OK to shut it down. Okay, so the students or the students in math classes need to figure out how to solve this issue. To solve the mathematical issue, which I found very entertaining, because I'm the worst in math, and doing this game, playing it. So okay, let's move on. The ISTE standard. Okay. As you mentioned, will be this one, the accessible and assistive technology. I'm in the special need committee in at my work, and after doing this project, I was exposed to too many assistive technologies out there are not available in my school. So it gave me the idea of what are the new software for special needs that can be used. Whether it's an online tools or hardware. So I searched about, in the flyer here, I just wrote description about it, videos, how we can accommodate it, the implementation strategy, all of the information needed. So in case my special need committee need anything from this, I just can share it with them, and they can purchase it or do whatever you know what I mean. Doctor?
Yes, I'm good.
Can you hear me, Doctor?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Let's move on.
I can hear you. Yes, no problem.
Okay. Why is it to the ISTE standard D3? Because I did evaluate it and how it can be a facilitated need students. So yeah. Okay. I'll move on. And now the ISTE standard for coaches number 4. Yeah, this one. Let's go to the PD evaluation. The third ISTE standard for coaches number C said evaluate result of professional learning program, determine the effectiveness on deepening teacher content knowledge, and blah blah blah. Okay, the PD evaluation I did in this course helped me with my other courses. Okay, because it's like a general survey that I can give all of my PD session, which at the end helped me to improve my other PD sessions, especially the one I repeat. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Am I talking too fast, Doctor?
You're not talking too fast. This is perfect. Actually, there's some skipping going on, but I can still understand what's going on. So don't worry. Keep talking.
If you want me, I can slow down or show you other stuff at the end.
It's nothing with you. I think there's some internet connection problem. So sometimes you're being chopped.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Is my voice now clear or not?
Clear.
Is it clear?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, for the digital citizenship, I didn't take the social media course, but I did do some activities that involve facilitating safe and healthy and ethical uses of the internet and all of those stuff. So, which I was lucky. Okay, so I'll just show you this artifact, internet safe, internet safety and cyberbullying. Why does it meet the ICT standards? Because it's my students. I can put it in our learning management system, and the student can read it, understand it. It just can give them another type of awareness. Their parents can see it as well because it's there online. It's an online flyer. So yeah. It's just gonna give them description about internet safety, what is cyberbullying, what are the tips to stop cyberbullying, and a video. Here there's an assignment for my students just to make sure they understood what cyberbullying is. Okay, my students are they are they are a Bachelor of Education students, but just letting them read it give them an idea about cyberbullying. Especially that I went with them through how to write the best password you have, how to make sure all of your files and information kept safe from like online attacks and all of those stuff. Okay. So now we'll go to the ICT standard for coaches 6, number 6. I was lucky with this one because one document I did, it was a very big document for one of my courses, and it helped me to use it for all of the other, it's like one artifact for all of them because it was a very, so I'll show you. This ICTE engage in continual learning to deepen content, pedagogical knowledge, to technology integration and current emerging technology necessary to ICTE standards. So I'll show you. My sister is graduating, so they are having a party downstairs.
Congratulations, that's wonderful.
Thank you. Okay, so why did I say I choose one artifact for? Artifact, I have day 1, day 2, day 3. So I used it for the whole ICT standard number 6. So what happens here is why is it? Because I have my course, which is a theory course, okay? And how did I implement the tools? How did I enhance the learning? So in the description, I wrote what online tool I'm gonna use, why I'm gonna use it, and how it's gonna be used in the classroom. This document wasn't only helpful for myself, it was also helpful for she just took the plan and implemented in her own class. Okay. So that's it. Those are all of my ICT standards.
Thank you, Aisha.
To present any other stuff, just tell me.
No need.
You're welcome.
This is wonderful. I really appreciate your time coming in and presenting today and sharing your wonderful portfolio. I hope you'll continue to grow and continue to share your experiences. I am so excited to see Cyber Chase because my son used to play the games on that website. It's no longer aired, I don't think. PBS, it was a PBS show. It was a very nice show. It was automatically focused. It was, yeah, I'm glad you reminded me that wonderful resource. Okay.
Thank
So with that note, I think I'm going to stop recording unless Basma has.
Dr. Nadia want to present.
Oh, where is she? Is she online?
What about my participation grade? Is there anything I can do to change it?
Let me check. 1 second.
Dr. Mulder, sorry, did you mention my name just now?
Hi, Nadia. Are you there?
No, this is Besma.
Oh, hi, Basma. I just wanted to know if you wanted to give any feedback.
No, I loved it. I got a bit worried when I saw Moses and Emma's because I thought, oh wait, I did something completely different. But then I saw Aisha's and John's and I thought, okay, so everybody did their own version of it and they showed their own personality. So I was like, okay, maybe I was on the right track. But I loved what Aisha did.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Aisha, I think it's already upgraded. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Check your point. I think I upgraded them a few, maybe hours ago. I'm not sure. Aisha, can you hear me?
Hi, Doctor. Sorry, I was talking to you, but I was muted.
Oh.
I saw a mark for something called NYIT blog.
NYIT
blog.
Don't know that there is no such thing.
I saw that too, but I don't remember where anymore. Aisha, can you share your screen to show?
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
While we're waiting for Aisha, Doctor, you mentioned something about the field experience reflections and to show the signature page. Yeah. Can you open it for me to be able to resubmit?
Oh,
like to have another attempt?
Absolutely. So there is no attempt available. I usually give more attempts, but let me double check.
It shows only one, and no, I can't do another attempt.
Okay, let me make sure. Okay. I guess I need to go back to the...
Doctor, do you want me to share my screen with you?
Give me one. Yes, you can. Let me just check something on the field experience reflections. Edit. Okay. It says multiple attempts. It actually says multiple attempts allowed. So could you please try again, because it says multiple attempts allowed.
For what? For the blog?
Field experience reflection. Isn't that what you talked about?
Yes. Sorry, Dr. Mulder, can I share my screen and then you can show me what I'm doing?
So first, I think...
after Aisha, sorry.
Yeah, afterwards. Okay.
The MSIT NYIT blog.
Oh yeah, don't worry about those. There is no points associated. They were just the placeholders. So that's fine.
Oh, so sorry, Basma, I'll stop sharing.
No problem.
No, sorry. Let me just share my screen. What am I looking at here? Can you see it says here? Oh, great, it's changed. How can I send you another one?
Okay, go back to the projects and artifacts, projects and activities. Place where you need to submit.
And then go down to field experience reflections.
Yeah, it should work now. Because it said multiple attempts allowed, but what does it say now?
It says this attempt has been ignored and will not be included in the grade center calculations. But where do I submit again? There's no...
Interesting.
Usually there's like a little thing here that shows me where I can submit again. But it's not there.
Right.
Do you see my screen?
But you can resubmit this same thing, right? If I delete,
Sorry?
if I clean up your submission,
Yes,
my end, you should be able to do it. 1 second.
I think so. And I'll refresh here.
Okay. Make sure you put the link for the portfolio as well. I don't see your
Okay.
portfolio link here.
Yes.
See it here, although you present, I won't be able to know where to give the points.
Oh, I understand. Okay, I'll put them in.
Doctor,
Go ahead.
I forgot.
problem.
Yeah, when is the deadline for task stream?
Deadline for task stream could be Tuesday, but Blackboard
Hello?
Blackboard is as soon as possible.
No, task stream.
Task stream is by Tuesday is fine. Somehow I cannot go back to that page. Can you imagine? It looks like I cleaned it. All right. It looks like it's clean, my dear, but some kind of a bug happened in that little area for you. Yep. I can't.
I'll try again. I've refreshed, but it's not changing for me.
No, it looks like from my end, it's clean. There's nothing.
Okay. Let me just try one more time.
Something, or maybe we are together at the same place. Maybe that's why. All right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Attempt one more time. So if it doesn't work, that means we need to both of us need to refresh something.
Okay.
Okay, give it a few seconds and refresh it.
Okay, yes, I can do it. Perfect.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
All right, Aisha, you good to go? All right, I am stop recording.